Even though it's this time of the year and the last couple of years have been questionable, and the next couple of years is, well, new territory, still it's good to review and plan out for the next year's goals. Hey, welcome back. This is Cetriya, Cetriya. And if you're new here, I am an art channel heavily influenced by manga styles. And sometimes I post tutorials, and other times I post videos like these, which are art and chat. So if you got some art supplies next to you and like to draw along while you listen, feel free to do so. So it is that time of the year where I go over and look over my goals and see what is it that I failed at and what is it that I got some wins in and things that I can improve, or maybe even things to change. Honestly, I personally am not that good when it comes to like planning goals and then keeping to them, right? So it's not even when the last 2-3 years was really weird and crazy and unfortunate, but also interesting new things came about from it, all of that. So it was even more difficult for me to keep to them. So I thought to myself that I tried to keep to all of those like how to goal setting type videos and blogs that I've written. And even then, even though I tried, I can't help but want to reach the sky and hope to land in the clouds. Hopefully, you guys are having a good time in recovering or thinking about what you've done for this year and hopefully being optimistic for next year. Alrighty, so while I do a quick speed paint of these cute little winter cats, if you're interested in purchasing anything that has that artwork on it, I'll attach it to like my Amazon and Redbubble store. They're kind of print on demand, so it's whichever item you like if you want to purchase it and support my work. But let's get right into it. Some of the yearly goals that I had planned for last year, you can see in my desktop. I want to say I got like half and half. I definitely am not as flexible as before, but I am appreciative of my physical goals that I put in. And I think that's something that, pretty much everyone does at the beginning of the year, saying, oh, I want to do this and do that and become more healthy and stuff. And I have to say that I've definitely kept quite a bit of the goal. I'm more flexible than I was before. I'm stronger than I was before. My only thing is, since going back to the office, it definitely makes a difference. So I don't know what is up with all of those articles out there saying how people were just so much more unhealthy when they were out of the office. But honestly, I don't think much of anyone was in the best of mind during these last 2 years for a number of reasons. So it's not really a good thing to compare, but I do know for me, physically, being able to catch more sleep, as you know, sleep is like one of the best things to heal your mind and your soul if you can catch any. And that's why it's so important. And I really appreciate that. And right now, knowing the difference of me having a good amount of sleep versus not having as much sleep really makes a big difference. And I have to be even more disciplined to make sure that I don't lose all of my good, healthy habits. But it's been a struggle, but I'm determined to keep it because it's just better for me to be as healthy as possible, especially as I get older. I'm not in my 20s, I'm in my mid 30s. So yeah, you try and be healthy. So I appreciate that. But I had achieved some of my art goals, such as getting an art representative and a studio art representative too. But it is my first time and it's a learning phase. And this jumps into the other thing that I hope to do for next year, and that is making sure that I actually produce these artwork that now that I have representation for. So sometimes it's easy to make those goals saying, once I get this and once I get that, I will do just perfectly fine. And at the end of the day, it really is you being just sitting there and like being prolific with your artwork. And then when you do actually build your artwork to market it. So that's the general summaries of my goals for this past year. And now we're going to just quickly talk about my goal setting for this year. So one of my biggest goals is getting back into comics. I haven't done it in a while. I've written stories about them, but it's just part of me. And sometimes you feel guilty because you want to provide or, be a responsible adult. And I'm doing like air quotes with my fingers, responsible. And the whole comic field, it's not that necessarily that it doesn't pay. I think I'm past that point of saying, oh, comics doesn't pay. It's more like it takes a good long while for it to pay. And many of us just don't have that time, but I am getting older and you really need to look over it that once you get a certain amount of things covered, like to not spend your time doing something that's more in line with your personality, your taste, your preference, and your desires would just be tragic, right? Because then like you're just going through life as a zombie. So I want to get into comics. And one of the things in the comics, because I try to like chunk my goals, is finally submitting to a manga test, which is usually called a silent manga. I've looked at this contest a while, and some of the themes wasn't my thing, but this year's theme made more sense to me, and I come up with a lovely little story that should be under, I think, the 16-page or the 14-page limit, probably a little less, and get the point across. And hopefully, I do well in the contest. But more than anything, I think it'll be a great warm up to my second goal, which is actually putting out a webcomic. I used to do short webcomics a while back. I even did a Kickstarter for a short book of mine and all of that, and if you see my videos, I do have tutorials on screen toning, inking, and stuff like that. And part of it is me learning all these things, a mix between learning on my own and learning online on how to do this stuff. And I just think it would just be, again, tragic for me to not continue on with those skills that I have gained and improve on them and actually write the many stories. And when I say many, I have a good over a dozen stories, and just sit there and just work on them. So I would love to get into the webcomic. I'm debating between one or two, these two stories, and I'm debating which story that I would like to do, if I want to keep it in that webcomic scrolling format, or if I want to keep it as a page comic format. I don't know. We shall see. Then the third goal, which goes back into me making more art for my agents, I definitely want to make 100 more patterns. And patterns are basically those prints and illustration that goes on like fabric or clothes that you buy. That is what I do as my day job, but I want to build my own personal collection for my agents, and then having 12 additional full-on illustration pieces for my art agent. So that way, they could license it and it'll be separate from the other things that I do. And it just would be a good base collection. The next thing up is freelancing. Pretty much every creative is going to push more towards freelancing. And regardless, as of right now anyways, with the whole AI talking and chat and more videos coming about that, if you want to know my thoughts on it, I pretty much have the same thoughts as my prior videos. You're still going to need some more clients, right? The clients will still need something specific. So I think I just need to get over, I wouldn't even say my fear, I just say my reluctance to not even bother, but I need to pitch out more. And I'm just giving myself a doable number of like 10 weekly pitches, email pitches, direct DM message a week to potential clients. And I know I'm just sending things out to the void, but honestly, all I need is like one or two, every other month to finally say yes and just get the ball rolling. So I just need to get over that. And maybe you're, trying to do some freelance work, and it really is just that, just pitch. I know that I just need to get over it and just pitch more. So it's a doable number, 10 per week. I can write an email for 10 people a week. And then the last thing is, learning a new skill. And this specifically it used to be Figma, but since I believe Figma was bought out by Adobe, right now I want to actually learn Adobe XD, which is the UI UX learning application, and just learn the application, because I think there's more job opportunities, or more varied job opportunities in the future, whether it's for freelance work or just in general, because, there's always talk about how there's so much more employment, but it's always like, you have to ask them, okay, but like in what industry and where exactly? Because case in point, the work that I do, there's plenty of jobs in New York, except that those jobs aren't paying enough to live in New York. Especially once you start factoring in all the taxes and whatnot. And yet those same companies seem to refuse to do any kind of remote work or just contracting, because I'd contract for you and then just live somewhere cheaper. But, I won't get into that into so much. But I want to pick up some more skills, and in general, just start to really, build money, save it for some more adult projects, that sounds funny, but like basically, I want to eventually build a house or whatnot, but more than anything, I want to have an appropriate and proper additional source of income, because you never know what could happen with my day job, right? And I don't want to lose everything just because I happen to be though I don't have any concerns, but again, you never know, right? So it's always good to pick up a new skill, but it's also better to actually actualize it. So in review, I'm going to get back into comics. I'll be doing the 100 days of making comics, which I know that I have quite a number of subscribers that came from me attempting that challenge. I'm going to actually do it. Hopefully by October, perhaps, maybe I will have the 100 days of making comics out. like the webcomic debut out. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I may be posting semi-daily with, some shorts. You let me know what you think about shorts and things like that, and just working more on my art career. Yeah. Oh, and of course, because I like manga, picking up a couple of more words in Japanese, right? Yeah. So all in all, those were my goals. Hopefully they actually sound realistic, but more than anything, I just need to actually work on doing the work, right? Let me know, you guys, what are your goals, if you don't mind sharing what you relate to my goals. Maybe we're sharing similar goals. And though it may be difficult, we might be able to somewhat keep us accountable on the internet. Perhaps there's something that you put on the back burner and you would like to get back into, maybe some kind of hobby or whatnot. But yeah, just let me know. And last, if you have any requests for videos that you'd like me to post more, go ahead and leave a comment below or follow the community tabs on YouTube where this video is posted. You could also, participate in polls and whatnot and see what's going on there. Anyhow, I hope you guys have a good New Year's. Hopefully you guys haven't spent too much on them credit cards. And by all means, stay healthy and take care. See you in the next video.